So we'll start in a minute. We're just waiting to give Commissioner Piper some time to get in. The roads are kind of messy today.
Didn't want to be late for your report, Superintendent, because I really like your listening to your reports.
Don't be waited.
I appreciate
Oh,
that.
he certainly did. Oh, I didn't know
Have
what
you
to say.
incorporated any song and dance numbers in them yet?
You haven't even done that, and I still like them. Oh, my God. I just.
Okay, all right, let's open the meeting and Superintendent Lethbridge, floor is yours.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have copies of my report in front of you. The good news is our population, average daily population came down a little bit more last month. Where you had 95 average population. And you'll see on the firm program, the numbers were lower again for the number of hours. I did make sure that I asked this time why that was. So the female classes have been fairly small. They don't have very many female inmates who are interested in the classes. And obviously we can't just blend that with other male inmates. I believe we have in the past, one time we had very little interest from the female housing unit, gone to 2 male classes for a short period of time, but right now that's not the direction we're going. And with the constantly changing population, that number should go back up again as we get people in who have interest in taking advantage of the substance abuse training. Inmate labor was on track. Actually, it was pretty high considering the winter months. Food service, our average cost per meals held steady. It did not change from December. And we also received about 600 pounds of county farm potatoes in January. The best news there is that we filled 2 of the vacant chef's positions. I really want to give a shout out to Corporal Lombardo and Officer Balch working in the kitchen. Those 2 worked some extra long hours. They adjusted meal schedules. They kept a high quality meal going out to the inmates, even though they were at less than half strength. Really appreciate them and all the hard work they did on our team. So we've initially hired a part-time and a full-time chef, but the part-time chef said, I like this so much, I want to take the full-time position. So we're in good shape there. In a recurring theme, our medical expenses. We hit the end of January and we were 90% spent on our costs for outside medical care, which aren't optional. We don't have any ability to not send the inmates out when they need medical treatment, which isn't to say that our staff aren't looking to hold costs as best they can. And I did put an example in there. We had an inmate with a PICC line that needed to go 3 times a week for treatment for, I guess, a high strength antibiotic that was being delivered directly into the heart through the PICC line. And our staff, that was going to be $2,000 a week in treatment. Our staff found a compounding pharmacy out of state that would mix the medication and have the RNs that we had on staff deliver it, which would have saved about $1,600 a week.
Wow, that's significant.
So our staff were constantly looking for ways to pull those costs down, but it's the same medical costs that everyone else deals with as well. It's just very, very expensive.
That's a lot of commitment on the nursing staff to be doing the IV therapy through a PICC line.
Yeah, and the research to even find a resource.
Exactly,
that can supply it.
that is above and beyond, very appreciative.
Yes, I'm very grateful for our team there. Community corrections, you'll see we're continuing to trend upwards. We had 59 people being monitored last month, which is a new record high. Of course, it's been a new record high every month for the last few months. And I believe that does relate to our census coming down a little bit. The courts are using our pretrial services program and electronic monitoring more, which I'm very grateful for. And then the other piece of good news is we hired 2 officers, which left us with 0 vacancy in the officer category.
Nice.
So the DOC is pretty much fully staffed. The only vacancy we have is the part-time chef position. We did do some promotions. Officer Scott Smith and Officer Timothy Lampman were promoted to the rank of corporal. And Officer Anthony Antone transferred from security squad to the community corrections. Very proud of all of them, and that fills all of the supervisory ranks as well. We've been filling in some of those supervisor positions over time, doing a couple at a time, and that's the last of them. And then the last piece of good news that I'd like to report on is the certified recovery support workers that the commissioners voted to fund through opioid, through alternative sentencing. They completed their training with Nicole's team. They came over to the jail last month. They got their training and orientation to the jail. And the reports that I'm hearing from our intake sergeant is that they've been a tremendous asset to him. The inmates are getting better help with getting things they need lined up when they're getting out. And it's relieved a tremendous burden on him and allowed him to focus on getting the inmates to their court hearings and things along those lines. So I'd like to report that success, and our officers and team in the jail are very happy with the relief that got through that. And that is the conclusion of my report. Any questions?
No, thank you.
That was a fairly quick hire for
Yeah.
this recovery support workers, funding through the opioid.
We posted it pretty much immediately after approval, and Nicole and I did the interviews together. That made the hiring decisions quickly. So I'm wanting to say that was November. I think she trained them up on her team all through from that point through December. And then in January, when she told me that they were fully trained there is when we brought them over, and they did like a 1 full day training at the jail.
Nice to get them going,
Yes.
oriented and on accomplishing what they were.
And sometimes when you got public safety people and social service work, public safety isn't always as appreciative of social work as maybe they ought to be. And so hearing from the officers and the sergeant that there really are a big help is always good.
Nice.
No, not from me. Thank you.
I have 2 action items for the commissioners. They're both inmate transfers. So I start with the one from Coos.
Sure.
Coos County requested us to hold a sentenced inmate because he has a pending civil case against their county. And I did agree to it. I forgot to look, he may even be gone already. Oftentimes, when I'm bringing you a transfer request, the inmate's already come and gone before I'm bringing it to you. They'll take care of all of the medical expenses. The only thing we're eating is the cost of meal, which is marginal.
If someone has it in front of them.
I will make a motion to approve the transfer of inmate Donovan Aubin from Coos County to Grafton County.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. And then the second one is from Sullivan County. And this is due to this particular inmate's criminal charges impacted a family member of one of their staff members. And it was not possible for them to keep those 2 isolated from each other because of the roles of that staff member. So they asked if we could hold that inmate. And Sullivan has recently accepted an inmate from us as well. So I agreed to return the favor and take theirs.
I will make a motion to approve the transfer of inmate James Dunbar from Sullivan County to.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. That was all I had.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please thank the medical staff for all they're doing, and the extra responsibilities they're taking upon
I
themselves.
absolutely will. I'm meeting with Shay on budgets this afternoon, so. Polly often asks for a copy of that. Thank you. Have a great morning, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This isn't the letter that you asked Karen to write last
Yeah.
week, your response to the email. I did fix the part that you brought to my attention.
I forgot I did that.
I thought that was a good letter. Including the tone of it, clear. Just trying to find it now.
She included the
Mhm,
avenues
mhm.
through the council.
When did that come in?
Last Tuesday. I meant to have you look at it and get it done last Tuesday before you left, and well, it didn't happen. And here we are.
So what was last Tuesday?
And to you actually during the meeting.
Yep, came in at like 10 o'clock.
Well, I read it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Do you wanna take a look at it before we sign it?
Uh,
Everything today.
Oh, I had made a change. There was a sentence that said how the policy is currently being applied is our interpretation. It just seemed,
no, look,
and I just said, the following is our interpretation of how the policy is
Yeah.
currently being applied, just,
And that's not what it says.
or, but I don't, but I
It says-
said something like that. I mean, that's what I
Can I
said.
just see the letter? for a
So-
second? I changed
yeah,
it to
thanks. I
say,
saw that too.
It,
as requested, we reviewed the policy. After our review, we feel the policy is being administered correctly.
Perfect.
so, it was just, that
Yep, I
sentence
saw
was
that too.
clunky, so
Thank
I
you.
just figured it would clarify something.
Does anybody have a pen I can borrow? I mean, forever, for the rest of the meeting.
I was gonna say, I went in my purse.
Here. I'm sure go first. Who went to Colby?
My son.
Oh, nice.
And I'm only using it because my one that actually does better, I couldn't find this one. I found it, but it wasn't where I usually keep it, but this doesn't keep it near as hot.
I taught at Maine, University of Maine at Farmington, and we used to go over to, they had the much better cultural events over there.
This is a social service application in the draft. Thank you. That we had them fill out. Those are for you to put with your files of social service applications. Thank you. No. Just,
Do you have first choice, or we just start with minutes?
start with minutes and
Minutes, okay.
one line.
I don't think I saw anything.
I had one small typo that I corrected.
So we have a.
I'll
motion
make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Second,
And all in favor?
I,
Right.
Okay, motion passes.
Hope that you did not get accustomed to just one check register.
Because we have a bunch.
We're back to.
because look what's gonna happen.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Stop here and then we'll go ahead and sit down and we'll get with you in just a minute. Not a pleasant drive this morning.
No,
You know, it's such a pretty setting now.
it is
was
gorgeous,
nice to
isn't it?
see. Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
kept.
for most of my ride, I couldn't see any.
But it was so great.
Yeah, it was.
I came in on 25 and
Yeah.
from Wolfboro.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
We're still in New Hampshire. Believe it or not,
It really is pretty.
very different over here, isn't it?
It is.
Over and out here.
I mean, I'm used to Ossipee in southern Carroll County.
Yeah.
Really no way to get here directly.
No.
I have 3 different ways that I can go. All of my involved Hillston.
Favorite one, the fastest one involves dirt roads. That's when I got stuck in the mud 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Texted Julie and said, I'm stuck, I'm not going anywhere.
I can go over the mountains, but I elect to go up 25 along the river.
But day like this, I go to Lisbon and down. Over. But at least it's pretty flat along there.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to go over Sugar Hill that way. Easton's my favorite. 16, because it's like
Florida's too.
it is, yeah. It's the curviest and it's really fun on a clear day. When the roads are clear. Okay, so go back.
In each folder. I live on 116 on the our side of it.
And that hairpin one.
The girls used to, there's one that.
Yes,
Just
right in Easton, right, yeah. I don't know, it's supposed to break your axle on that one.
Used to go to Deer Garden.
A little.
We do get a lot of signage.
Yeah, I know they just sold that building. I wish it would come back.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I'm ready for you, but their request. I think I forwarded it on last Tuesday.
Yeah.
When?
That's Tuesday morning.
17th.
Popular day for.
Yeah.
Emails. 8:36 a.m.
Let me race back there.
There it is, right there. But we'll do a quick introduction here and then we'll let you do the same thing and
I'm Katie Wood Hedberg. I'm the commissioner from District 3. That goes from, it's mostly the southeastern part of the county.
Wendy Piper, District 1, which is Enfield, Lebanon and Hanover.
and Martha McLeod and I'm District 2. And it's all of northern Grafton County.
The Littleton would be
Yes,
district.
yeah, so go ahead and introduce yourselves and
I'm Matthew Blatch. I'm the executive director of White Horse. Been doing this about a year and a half now. I was an attorney for 35 years before that. Mostly in Washington DC. And Erica Collins.
And I'm Erica Collins. I am the manager of our Littleton Center.
and Erica, you were here.
For the Littleton Winter Shelter, because I'm also on the board for that too. Yep, and we serve all the clients, like the same client.
So when they leave the shelter in the morning, they come in.
They come out there.
Yep.
Yeah. How is the shelter doing this winter?
Shelter's doing amazing. Like it's been full all season. And you know, we had a rough start with some of the people that were coming in, but people were being dropped off out of different towns, like buses, getting bus tickets and just dropped off up here. But with all like the police department and us at White Horse and the shelter all working together, we were able to like keep things smooth,
Yeah.
running smooth. So
Yeah, and I noticed that you all opened the shelter up during those below zero.
Yeah.
Multiple days.
Yeah.
Times
Yeah.
during the daytime too, I think. Yeah.
It's been a colder winter too.
It really has.
So, did you have a chance to review? the letter that,
I just recognized you.
Okay, I recognize you too. Joe Kenny said hi. Said, say hi. to
been a
my
while.
mother for me.
It's been a while. Carroll County Commissioner.
I was, Carroll County.
I was like, man,
It was
Commissioner
like the
Flash.
worst job ever.
Oh my God.
You know,
Don't
whatever
say
you
that. Do that. Come over here and do that.
Somebody finds fault.
Yeah.
So, but I hope that you can be, it's like, oh, best job ever. No, it's like, and it's a tough job.
It's a very tough
I
job.
know what you're going through, so. You know,
Thank you for that.
but we had a good time,
Yeah,
you know, Commissioner McCarthy was great,
I think so.
and she was the chair,
Yeah.
so she did all the, you know, the heavy lifting and. We had some fun, you know.
Well, I always enjoyed talking to Carroll County at the conferences, so just
Okay.
took me a minute.
Okay.
Nice. Good memory though. You did it. Put it together. So go ahead and give us an overview and tell us what your ask is and then we can ask you questions.
Well, I assume you're kind of familiar with Whitehorse. We were started in 2014 with 3 volunteers. And we were doing clinical work at that time. We just had clinicians. In 2016, we opened the first state-funded, we became an RCO and opened the first state-funded center, walk-in center. That was in Center Ospey. Since then, we've opened one in North Conway, in Littleton, and in Berlin. Actually, we took over the one that was in Littleton. They asked us to come in and take it over. So now we're running 4 of them. Those are funded through Harbor Care.
Say that again, they're funded through
Harbor Care.
Harbor Care.
So the
Okay,
way
yeah.
there's 21 centers now in the state.
Yeah.
We cover all of Carroll County, Coas County, and North Grafton County. So it's about 40% of the geography of the state. A little less than 10% of the population.
Mhm.
So it's rural, it's spread out. Transportation is a problem. Housing is a problem. Working with youth is a big issue, and it's kind of where we're heading now. It's going to become a big focus of Whitehorse going forward. It has to be, I think. What we're seeing when we work with adults, they come in and we'll interview, we talk, we do an intake. We do a bark tan. And they all start using at age 12 to 14.
Oh, goodness. Interesting.
So if we can turn that around earlier, it's a lot easier to change your life. That's kind of our slogan. We don't just save a life, we change a life. And we're good at it. We actually, you know, I'm saying that, but we really are. So we've been doing clinical work in Carroll County. We get a grant every year from the county that goes back, probably started about 8 years ago. Long before I was a commissioner. It funds our clinical program, and we have clinicians in North Conway and in Center Ospey. We have not been doing clinical work in Littleton or Berlin, but we want to. We are adding resource centers in all of our walk-in centers, audio-visual equipment. So what we're going to be doing is people can come in to Littleton and they can have a virtual session with a clinician, mental health and or SUD. They're both on staff. And we are getting people in Littleton that are looking for actual help, you know, from a licensed clinician. We do have CRSWs on staff, and I think you're close to becoming a CRSW. Eric just passed his test today.
Yep, Eric just passed his test,
Mhm.
so he is a CRSW. I just completed my GD. So that took a little bit of time for me to complete, but I finally did it, and so I'll be able to get my CRSW now. And Austin is on his way too.
Austin's
Yeah.
on its way too.
Yep.
So each of our centers has 3 staff positions. And every one of them is becoming a CRSW. Most of them, almost all of them have completed all the classwork. And now they're getting their hours so that they can take the extension. And so we're doing peer support in each of our centers, and that's a big piece of the work we're doing in Littleton. In addition to the peer support, we have supplies, people can come in. We have food, it's a food pantry, we have clothing that we give out. We actually have a thrift store in Center Ossipee. And we send clothes from there for Rico. If we ever run low in one of the centers, we do take in donations in each center as well. We have a shower and laundry facilities in each of the centers. So people can come in there are several men that come in, I guess you pick them up
Yeah.
from a house.
Yeah.
They come in every week to do their laundry. And while they're there, they can have a session with peer support. And so it helps their recovery. It's kind of, in a way, the laundry and showers are a way to get people into the center, and then we can work with them.
My goodness. That's a nice, really, really good strategy.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
well, we thought that worked,
It was really good.
and then, I don't know, like, we gotta add that in every one of the
Yeah,
centers. you
yeah.
know?
Yeah,
We were doing it in Ossipee, and, people would come in, they're living in their own house. They're living in the woods. Just,
Yeah.
down the block, And so we get them in, we get meals, and then while they're there, we can work with them. And over time, we do see changes. If we can get someone, working with a clinician as well.
Mm.
There's a lot we can do. In Carroll County, we go into the House of Corrections. We run 2 smart recovery meetings each week in corrections. And the data shows, this is incredible, the data shows that the recidivism rate, if someone goes through our program at the jail for a couple months, the recidivism rate goes from the 70s down to the 30 percentile. Just cut in half. Now, I don't know what your budget is at the jail. In Carroll, it's 6.5 million population daily count of maybe 60 to 65.
Mhm.
So you're looking at 100,000 a year per inmate. And I bet you're pretty similar. I bet you're similar. I don't know.
Slightly larger, but not a lot bigger.
It's tough. We can keep people from going into jail. We can
Mhm.
get them, back with their family. Into, a house, they can get employed. If we can just change that
Right.
addiction and shift it into recovery, there's so much we can do, but it takes time, it takes effort. For clinical, Medicaid, most of our clients have Medicaid. It pays about 80% of the cost. No, less, about 70% of the cost. So
Have you looked at what you bet that issue and
we
what's
have,
coming at us?
so we get grants, we,
Yeah.
that's why we get the grant in Carroll County to help with, the clinical work. That's what it funds. And so if we can, we work with people in drug court. They'll be sentenced to work, to get treatment with White Horse instead of going to jail. Keep them out of jail. We can, for several $1,000s, we can treat somebody for 6 months.
Hmm.
And they don't go to jail, which would cost 50,000 for 6 months. It's kind of to me, it's kind of a bargain, and rather than having that on their record.
Mm, yeah.
They now are getting employed, they're back in the community. They're becoming functional again.
There was a gentleman at the winter shelter event.
Yep.
Who spoke.
He was one of our clients.
Yeah,
And he is still doing good. He found housing, so like he has his own place now. Well, he's like a roommate with somebody. But he still comes in and gets services and, meals and to hang out too, right? Cause he's built relationships now with people at the center, and so it's a safe place for him to go. And that's a lot of what the people do, our clients do, is they come hang out because it's a safe place, you know? Yep. And Littleton's is our busiest center. We have 4
It's
centers,
very busy.
and Littleton is our busiest center. Besides the clinical part, right, in Ossipee. 241 people I served last month. And I think, hold on, let me get my numbers. 241 people I served last month, laundry, 41 people, showers, 27, and we ran 207 meetings. And that was just last month. And I keep numbers.
Month.
Yeah, I keep
Just
numbers
one
like
month.
that every month, so I can get the data and give it to you if you need it. But we want to continue the services, right?
Well, we
wanna-
need another staff.
Yeah, and we need another staff. I run with 2 full-time plus me full-time. And I need another full-time, so that it relieves me so that I can do some outreach and be out in the community and connecting our partners with us, with us and working together to bring in new programs and new things for our people.
I'm just looking at the letter and I see the last paragraph of the first page. We average about 500
Yep.
sign-ins.
Yep.
At our Littleton Center each month. That's incredible. You're working with SIM.
And we have 3 staff,
Yeah,
and so there's chaos.
you're working with the SIM, which
Are you familiar with the?
yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe you want
That's
to talk
kind-
about it, but
That's huge. I mean, that's, the Chief Justice has,
Oh, yeah.
pushed that.
oh, yeah. I have a
Really?
question.
Yeah, Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have a question. I'm really happy that we have the opioid money available, the opioid abatement fund grant, because that's, this industry caused trouble. And now we get to help dig out a little bit. So I'm very happy that we have that. And I agree with you completely that it's better to keep somebody out of jail and to help, especially I was touched with a 12-year-old. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. Do you have any numbers in terms of any numbers that would show you what your outcomes are? Like, go ahead.
Yeah,
Like how many people you possibly could have, might be hard to figure out, but
when we put someone through IOP is a
Yeah.
12-week it's intensive outpatient.
Yep.
If we can put someone through IOP, it costs about $1,000 a week.
Mhm.
Medicaid pays a total of $8,000, so we lose $4,000. We make that up with donations. And grants.
Mhm.
And there's about after 2 years, there's an 80% sobriety rate, successful recovery,
Yeah.
2 years out.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. If you can get through 2 years,
Yeah.
it's good.
That's great.
Can I share something?
Go ahead.
So I am living proof sitting at this table. Whitehorse was where I went to get services. I moved to the North Country. I moved up to the North Country about 5.5 years ago. And I went into sober living, right? But Whitehorse was the place that I went and I got my coaching. I did my meetings. I did my parenting classes. I did those things there. And now I get to work there. I get to be part of my community and be on several boards and doing the work, right, with other people. So I think that that's really important that you guys see that
Mhm.
there is successes and not
Mhm.
every day do we have a success, but I really do feel that even if somebody comes in just to do their laundry and take a shower, that's a win. You know what I mean? Because they're just getting, they're coming through the door, and coming through the door is really hard for some people. Even if it's somebody that has an apartment or has a car or has a job, but they just can't afford to do their laundry because food's so high and rent's so high and what I mean? So I feel like, yeah.
giving them a hand. Just, one other, I guess it's a comment actually, but thank you, Erica, for sharing your story. Nothing touches me more than that,
Mhm.
than somebody who has the hope and that has done it and has the courage to tell us about it. I'm enormously touched by that and happy for you. Did I hear you right in the beginning when you were talking about your social worker certification? Did I hear you say that that you had just completed your GED? Does that mean the same thing that it meant when I was?
High school.
Yeah.
So I've been working on it. I've worked for White Horse for almost 4 years now. In April will be 4 years. And I worked as just a regular recovery coach, and then I got promoted to manager, and I've been manager ever since. And it's been a learning
It's
experience.
like our poster child.
I
Yeah.
didn't know, like sitting here, I mean, this is like, whoa, I'm going to the commissioner's office and sitting in, you know, never once thought that I would be able to advocate for a
Yeah.
company and be part of something. And getting my GED was really, really hard. Like I struggled with it. Asked Matt, Matt was like, Erica, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep
Which I
going.
don't understand, cause,
And-
you know,
And I
she's
just,
great, you know, she's able to run the center. and
I can run the center and
she's
help
on all
everybody
these
else,
boards
but,
too.
you know.
We talk about your board memberships.
Well, I'm on the board for Littleton Winter Shelter, and then I'm also on the board for Tri-County CAP.
Well, you're who we need
She's
there.
on the advisory board
Oh,
for
and I'm on
the
your,
Grand
yeah.
United Way grant program.
Yeah.
In the GED caught my attention. And so I just wanted to circle back with that. And I was hoping that I had heard right. And you should be enormously proud.
Thank you, thank you. And I had, that was the piece to being able to do the CRSW.
Yeah.
Like I've done all the hours, I have all the classes and more. But the GD part I really struggled with, and I think I struggled with myself more than I struggled with actually doing it. If that even makes sense. So I'm finally got that done, and then, yeah, so other opportunities obviously are, you know.
Is the certification program a state
Yes,
program? Okay.
it's,
Yep.
it's under the LADAC board.
Yep.
Which is under OPLC.
And I'm a community health worker too, so that also is.
You are.
That also is a certification or something, but I have to go through OPLC for that too.
Yeah, I'm glad we have that in New Hampshire now. I think
Yeah,
it's a really-
yep.
They do great work.
I think all of our staff have lived experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most personal in recovery. We are a recovery friendly workplace.
Yep.
I don't know if the county, you know, you are, but you should be.
I'm not sure that we are, but we're not. Okay.
We are.
But
and we are-
Littleton has quite a few places. Yeah.
So Littleton is a recovery friendly town.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sober living.
Yeah.
You all get involved in the legislative advocacy work around this. I asked that because I work for New Futures and we do a lot of.
I work with Jake all the time.
Oh, okay.
I always
Alright.
talk with him.
Okay. I thought
I
so.
don't agree
That's
with
one where I've
everything,
seen your
but, you know,
name.
Yeah,
That's all.
I get involved.
Okay.
I love it. And that bill, so the bill 1790, HB 1790, which will classify SUD as a mental illness if it passes. And I think New Futures is opposing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You have to ask Jake about
because people could be involuntarily committed if they have SUD. So they suffer an addiction, they could be involuntarily committed. Now looking at it, thinking, this will never pass. Because what does that do for the insanity defense?
Interesting.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that legal
and-
background too.
Everybody, well, more than 70, probably more than 75% of the people in Carroll County's House of Correction are there because of something to do with drugs.
Mhm.
Superintendent Lethbridge was here
Yeah.
before you were
Mhm.
here.
The county jails,
Yeah.
it's drugs and,
Oh, big time.
there would be- so also New Hampshire's insanity defense. New Hampshire follows the Durham rule. the only state that follows the Durham rule. Every other state, you have to show that you, I'm getting way off track here, but
No, it's
you have to
a
show that you
plan.
suffer a mental illness. And that because of the mental illness, you don't know the difference between right and wrong. And so you can't be judged for having done something wrong because you don't even understand it. New Hampshire, you only have to show that you suffer a mental illness. And that the crime you committed is the product of the,
Interesting.
it's the only state that follows that rule.
Wow.
So what does that, if SUD is something, I would think, you know,
Hmm.
the criminal defense lawyers might enjoy, might like that bill. Anyway,
I work in the healthy aging issue area at New Futures, but
so we work with New Futures a lot, all of the RCOs do,
yes,
you know,
yeah.
I talk to Jake every couple of weeks. About different bills, I'm real interested in the recovery housing bills.
Yeah.
And the one, they fixed it, one in the legislature now, looks pretty good. So I'm supporting it. We are opening a recovery house right now in the next couple of months in Center Ossipee. It'll be our first one. We will be expanding. There are a lot in Littleton right now.
Yeah, I'm always a little questioning of some of those. Are they? Well, you don't have to tell me what you think about it, but I'm having done a lot of walking the streets and campaigning and stuff. I'm a little skeptical, but maybe they just need more resources. I don't know.
I
don't know.
wouldn't,
We need to do some work there.
listen, I'm grateful that the houses are here and giving people chances, but there's always room for improvement.
It's,
That's what I thought.
it's not easy to run one.
Yeah, right.
know.
Yeah.
And they have the resources. I don't think it's about the resources. I think it's about. I don't know if I should say this, but I think it's about how the structure of it.
And is that what the legislation is doing, trying to put some structure around those?
Well, it'll require certification.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
That's
Right
good.
now, it's optional. I believe a lot of them are, they do get certified. A lot of them are operated for profit.
Yeah.
And so now you've got that issue. How do you make it profit? When we open, we won't be operating for profit. For us, it's kind of the third leg of the stool, which is, so we have peer support, we have clinical, but we don't have any place for our clients to live.
Yeah.
So if we have housing, so we can transport people from the house to their jobs, we can transport them to treatment. We'll have peer support on staff. So we're getting into it. We're learning to do it initially this year in Center Ossipee, and then we'll be expanding up to Coas, and if it's needed. if
I
more
want a
is
woman's house
needed- We've talked about opening a
in
woman's
Littleton
house.
If you need it, if you're.
with children,
There are not a lot of beds for women right now. in
Yeah.
houses.
I don't know.
I think it's harder to operate a women's house, at least that's what I'm told by people that have done
I'm more catty.
So as
it.
we're looking at these numbers that you've given us, are those unique sign-ins or are those the total of people who come through the door? So if someone comes every day, are they counted every day or are they unique sign-ins?
It would be that, it
Okay.
wouldn't be different people.
Okay.
Yep.
We get new intakes every month, you know, we might get 20 new intakes.
Yep.
So an intake is when you sit down and you
Yeah.
go through a long list of questions.
Get them in the system, get to know them a little bit, you know, hear their journey, hear their story. The trust is really, really important when you're dealing with this population, because they don't trust anybody. So, you have to build that trust, and then once you build that trust, you can start breaking down walls. And then when they see that you're actually there to help them break down those break down the barriers, then they start opening up more. So it is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight, but I tell you what, I've seen a lot of success in the Littleton Center. And I am super grateful to be part of it, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you should be proud.
I am.
I love hearing this, so, because I don't do that.
Right.
You know, I'm the executive director, so I deal with all the financial issues and making sure. We're gonna make payroll at the end of the month, we've got 25 employees, so. And we're expanding into areas that need to be covered, and I'm dealing with all the legislation, and they're doing the real work.
And we do like free dinners once a month, and transportation is new to Littleton. We have transportation now for our clients. And we do all this without, there's no, if they don't have insurance, and right now, like a big thing for Littleton is a lot of people are coming from Vermont. They'll go to Valley Vista to treatment, and then they'll come over here to the sober living, and they don't want to get our insurance because Vermont insurance is better insurance, and you can't make people do those things. So like, I'm still gonna serve that person, and they're gonna do their laundry for free, they're gonna eat for free, they're gonna have coffee for free, they're gonna take a shower for free, they're gonna get their rides to their doctors and all that stuff for free. And then it's up to us to make sure that we're coming to places, seeking things so that we can keep that going.
Yeah, last year, we were looking at what are the barriers to people getting out. Transportation really is one of the biggest issues in our area. So, we had one Ford Transit van for years. That was a town center. I decided to get 3 new vehicles. 2 Nissan Rogues and a Kia Sorento. So now we have 4 vehicles, we have 1 in each center, we're able to transport people. Austin's driving people, you and Austin are driving people around every day now.
Yeah, and we go as far as Nashua, Keene, we're bringing people to treatment, and treatment centers we bring people in here for detox too, but,
That's probably how many times a month?
I wanna say probably like 4 or 5 times a month,
Drive someone into detox,
and then coming back.
residential treatment, when they get out, they'll come back a little bit and then get services at the center.
Questions? So I was thinking, do you want to?
I brought packages
that
for you
would be
guys, I've made folders for you guys. So if you like run meetings and stuff like that, you guys could see a little bit of what we do.
Thank you.
We should talk a little bit about the youth program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that and tell us what your ask is and
Well,
what
the ask
the
was-
funds it's gonna be used for, the timeline and stuff.
So the youth program is new. We've been working with youth at the Kingswood Youth Center for years, probably 8 years now. That experience has taught us that, and the experience working with adults has taught us, there's a big issue with youth. When we look at the data now, just over the past couple of years, we see numbers that middle and high school age girls, we're not sure. 40% of them are having suicidal ideations. 19% of them have done something, have taken steps towards suicide. There's just huge issues. We have to expand, focus on youth. The OAC earlier this year, that's the Opioid Abatement Commission. They're the ones that send you.
So the New Hampshire always.
The New Hampshire OAC decided that this year they're gonna focus on youth, that we wanna make a push. New Hampshire DHHS agrees as well. If we can do this, it's like that thing, you get people off that highway at an exit ramp earlier. That highway that's leading them to a life of incarceration, we get them off as soon as possible into treatment, into recovery, committee huge times. So we've developed a youth program, we're calling it the Trailblazer program. It'll start this summer. We want us to do it in Littleton and Ossipee this summer. We have been approached by the SAP coordinator up in Littleton. That's the student
System.
assistance program coordinator. And she's concerned what's gonna happen with the students she's working with, what's gonna happen when summer
In the
comes.
summer.
So,
Yeah.
so she's prepared to refer people to our program.
Yeah.
we're looking for some funding to help with that. We want to hire a new person in the Littleton Center. And we want to start offering the virtual clinical sessions in Littleton. We've asked for 100,000.
And is that a year or is that over?
That would be this year. It would be used in Littleton.
We just got that information last week, but I don't have it handy. What's the balance? Do we know? Getting down.
It was 300 something.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
304.
Yeah, okay.
So my thought, this is amazing work, but I really struggle with getting a third of what we have to one program because we get requests several times. You know, we get at least one or two every month for different amounts of
Yeah, we do.
funding. So I would be very worried if we were giving a third of what we have because it will get replenished, we'll get some back, but we don't know when or how much. So I worry about the dollar amount, I don't worry about the value of your programs or the good work you're doing. I just worry about that total dollar amount.
Yeah, I know we have another one good size request coming in from probably your partners in NCHC as well as our alternative sentencing program. They're
Mhm.
working together on.
Mhm.
You
We
may
work
know-
with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you may know about this.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's about assessment so that people can quickly get into programs. Because if they don't get assessed, they end up back at the jail pretty quickly. So they want to do their assessments and I know that's.
We can do assessments
You can probably.
and we can do those virtually. We have
Yeah.
clinicians prepared to do that. So
And
we
I-
could help with that program.
Yeah,
Well-
we should talk with Bob.
Absolutely.
Thompson.
Yep.
At NCHC.
Mhm.
He's working with Nicole here and putting that request together.
I'd
And they
also,
cover, I think they're covering a larger county, I think it's a countywide thing that they're doing, but obviously part of it is in the Littleton area too.
I'd like to work with the youth diversion too.
Yep.
And that's kind of what the Trailblazer program is.
Yeah, that sounds like really a great prevention.
Yeah.
We haven't seen as much of, I don't think. And the requests that we've gotten have not been as much in that area. I'm not sure if we've gotten anything in that.
No,
area.
and what we've gotten from one of our applications was really more alcohol related and not opioid related.
So my thought is that, and I know we talked about this briefly, is we need to make a request to the state opioid abatement fund for a larger amount of
Mhm.
funding for
Mhm.
this area specifically because we've had so many requests. I think Attorney Buffetti told us that that's what we need to do, that they get 85% of the funding at the state and 15% is sent out to all the cities
All
and
the
towns and
joint,
counties that are
All the
part of
municipal
this.
entities.
So it's a fairly small amount compared to what is available. What is it, 30 million? It's a big number and I think that may not be
Total
accurate.
That's coming to the state is probably more than 250 million.
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
about 100, it's more than 100 million coming.
yeah, I was thinking the balance might have been around 30. He spoke to us in
The
November.
balance they have currently in the bank.
Yeah.
It's already come in that they have dispersed it.
Yeah.
It's about-
All right, either of you won that commission?
No, those are all appointments,
Oh,
Mhm.
okay,
and I go to the meetings, well, or I'll watch them.
Yeah.
Virtually. And, they're kind of interesting to see. So,
well, you might have some insight, because I do feel like that's our next step, because we have so many requests. That we,
You can go to them and ask them for just more money. It has to be
that's what he said.
application specific for specific programs, and they only do. They've only done. Like applications, RFPs for money to disperse money like once since the.
Well, they're very
and
focused
they're
on
doing the
housing
Granite
right now.
United Way, the Granite United Way does the smaller disbursements of money.
I don't know, I spent a lot of time talking to him in November about
I
it.
think this year they're going to be setting up, a program where and municipalities can go in and ask for more
Yeah, bigger
grants.
amounts, and I think that's, we need
Bigger
to
amounts.
ask for,
They did the small round
$1 million.
grant at United Way.
Mhm.
They gave money to New Hampshire Housing Authority
Mhm,
to disperse.
Yep.
Those applications are due April 10th this year. So we're looking at that.
Yeah.
But that'll be a 30-year no interest mortgage.
Yeah.
Uh,
so it's true, right now, no, we don't have, may not have enough, I mean, to satisfy everyone if we don't ask for more, because we don't know when it comes in.
That's right.
We don't
And
know,
it's coming in for 19 years, but
right, but we don't know when.
big numbers have come in, more will
Yeah.
be coming in every year. There's a couple of settlements that haven't happened yet. And then it's limited, the uses are limited by statute and by the settlements.
So I'm certainly willing to call Attorney Buffetti and ask him how we go about that and tell him what we need,
That'd be great.
something up here.
Yeah, you did mention you had that long conversation.
Yeah.
That would be great. I did not go to that session, so,
Mm-mm. No,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and see what it is that we need to do to get more resources specifically into here so we can address the needs that people are having right here locally, But how would you, what if we could do half of that now, say?
I would be very happy.
Yeah.
I'd be very
We'll
grateful.
take whatever. I mean,
Could you-
I understand.
I'm not quite comfortable with that. That's still a lot of what we have, and if we have another big one coming in, I would, I understand that if you don't ask, you don't get, so I appreciate you coming in and asking for what you think you need. As I've looked, for what we've, put out for some of the, approved for some of the other programs, I would look to perhaps something like 30,000, and if we're getting more money, certainly would revisit what we could give. And I know you say others are coming in, and that's one we know about, and we often get
Yeah.
ones we don't know about.
I would just pitch in to say, we're blessed, trying to put a silver lining on this. We're blessed to have several organizations, people have been coming in, and asking, and we're able to help. Just like we're able to help our own program. I will say this is a big ask. $100,000 is a big ask, and so we're starting at quite a large number, and coming down from that. So given how high the number was originally, I raised an eyebrow at 50,000 also, but would be comfortable with something lower than that. And then we need to research this. We need to get that question answered and figure out if we can get more money. But to go from 100,000 to 50,000, that's the art of the deal, to go from 100,000 to 50,000. But I think I'm not comfortable with the 50. But I would be comfortable. Did you say 30?
I said 30, and if we get a positive response, then I
Exactly.
think we're really able to look more, but we get frequent requests, and
Yeah,
they're all
that's the
very
thing.
good, they're all saving lives, and they're all
You have such
working for
compelling-
the same goal, and we understand that.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. I'm comfortable with more because I'm more confident that we're, that the need does it and we're saving lives. Every dollar we put out and every dollar we save is not saving somebody's life when we sit.
But we're putting them out
in the
to
bank.
various organizations.
I guess it's not that I don't agree with distributing the funds. I just think we get a lot of requests, and I don't want, I'd like to make sure we, if we see more money coming in, I'm very comfortable with going up. I just think that it's a relatively big percentage when we know we're getting asked for others.
So can you, I guess then the question becomes, can you do something useful with that amount of money?
Yeah.
Is there a point where it doesn't become?
You can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
You
then when you
reached out
answer,
to the Granite United Way for the community grants program, which
yes,
is through that.
yes. Every tier one grants and tier two. We got a tier one grant in December that is funding the new equipment in the center. and everything.
telehealth.
You know, yeah, so we can do those telehealth
Yeah.
sessions. So that's where we got that money. They just awarded one to us 2 days ago to fund an additional vehicle for Berlin. $15,000 towards a vehicle for Berlin, so we can do transportation there, because right now that transit van, I'm gonna need it back when we open the recovery house. So I'm gonna need that. So I need a dedicated vehicle for the house that we're opening to transport people, so.
and I feel that not to interrupt, but White Horse, it's not just one place. We have 4 places. So like, you might see that, oh, we went for this grant, went for that grant, but the money goes to where it's supposed to go and what county it's supposed to go in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's very important for everybody to know.
I
Because we're such a
appreciate-
huge.
Right. And I appreciate that
Yeah,
clarification,
because we-
and especially for the people online.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, absolutely, because big ask, but we're trying to support so much of the state, right? We are 40% of of the northern part of the state. It's,
Yeah, well, my view is that it's not our money, it's money
yeah,
meant to save people's lives and we have to get that out.
and I appreciate any of it, like all of
Thank
it,
you.
even being here, so I'm just grateful.
And again, it's all worthy. I just want to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
as we were saying, oh, we're having some other big requests coming in. And if we can get additional dollars through here, we're going to want to send most of them out of the door. But what I don't want to do is deplete it. So we have another really worthwhile cause coming in and saying, oh, well,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
that would be my thought.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Share the same concerns.
And I work with North Country Health Consortium. I work with them all the time. I work with Alternative Sensing. They actually come into my building and use my building every Thursday morning. So they meet with their clients, you know what I mean? So like I have a relationship with a lot of the people around here, so I am grateful to hear that it is going to other places too.
Great information too,
Yes.
thank you.
And I think we used opioid funds to help with the winter
A
shelter.
little too much of
So,
shoulder, yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
so that,
And that's,
so I.
That saved them really.
Saved a lot of things, so I trying to,
Well, and I understand, I think it's interesting that it's Northern Grafton County that has the biggest challenges for this. And it could be the Hanover Lebanon area has more resources or larger organizations, I don't know. I don't.
or they
why.
haven't thought to ask with that, or the, it's certainly, and it can be an issue throughout the county, and, and if, I want to make sure that we can efficiently give resources as needed.
Yeah, but it would be interesting to find out, what is it that's going on in Littleton? Northern Grafton County, it is certainly seems to be the neediest.
Yeah.
place.
But part of it is the housing.
oh, yeah.
The businesses, a lot of recovery friendly businesses
Yeah,
willing to hire
true.
people in the houses in recovery.
Not so much, I will say there has been a struggle with people finding work, that are living in the houses because of past things that have happened.
Yeah.
So, it's been a struggle recently for people finding work, and then they get frustrated. And then they want to give up, you know what I mean? So it's been, helping them fill out applications and resumes and things like that, so that they can go a little bit bigger than just going in and quickly, quickly writing up a application and handing it in, and making sure that they have proper clothing, so that when they go to their interviews, they look presentable, you know what I mean? So,
And we help them with it.
Yeah.
If they come
Oh,
to
I've seen some really good, and again, in the advocacy world, many of them come back, sort of pay back by doing some of that, come and speak to the legislature,
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah,
They run their own recovery homes, perhaps. I don't know, maybe you know Sean. Do you know Sean? I don't know.
Paradaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Sean.
I know Sean well.
Yeah.
But he comes.
Sean and
back.
Melissa.
Yeah, and Melissa, they both come in and they do that. They really give back.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
And that
You
was.
can't keep what you have
Right,
unless you give it away,
yeah.
right? And that doesn't mean,
But that's
Things.
because Littleton has recovery friendly workplaces that other places don't necessarily
I
have.
think the police,
And Chief
Recovery
Smith is
friendly as
very
well.
supportive.
and they can drop people off at the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than incarcerate them
Yeah,
and charge them, so.
it's amazing actually what the work they're doing.
So I would make a motion to at this point reward a $30,000 grant out of our opioid funds to White Horse Recovery for all of the wonderful work you're doing and as stated.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
All right.
And I look forward, Commissioner McLeod, to hearing what you hear back from the attorney.
Yeah.
And if we find we can get more money, we will
Thank you.
try and remember to reach out.
We'll come back and let you know what we're doing. We'll
That'd be
keep
great.
informed
Thank you.
That'd be
about how we
great.
use it, so.
absolutely. And if there's anything that I can do for you, ladies,
Thank you, Erica.
you.
my card's in the folder.
And please be careful driving.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Carol, one more of the card.
Oh, take them all.
Uh,
I have hundreds.
Well, no, I handed them around, so.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, if you go to the agreement website, it tells you that I did that one RFP 2023, and that's the only general one.
I know,
Now.
that's why it's time to move
Yeah.
them off of that, especially with Buffetti saying that's what he wants to see. I mean, he's the guy that worked, he's the attorney that worked on this originally,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
Jim Buffetti.
It's interesting, not everybody on the commission. And they've been learning, but when I watched some of the meetings in the past, they didn't, some of the things they didn't fully understand.
Yeah, it's an interesting
someone
group that's on, I
explore
was looking at
yeah.
who's on that commission, it's not
Right,
There's
what
a
you
lot
would
of people.
expect.
right.
Dave Mara was on it,
Oh, yeah,
and
oh,
I guess he's been replaced.
Yep.
yeah, I didn't see his name,
He really,
yeah,
Paul.
Yeah.
Can't remember his last name, but, he understood it, and he's been a big supporter of White Horse.
yeah.
They do a great job, though.
Yeah, it's just, we don't want people living off the interest of that money, we want that out.
Right.
The idea was to get it out.
Right.
And that's making interest, so even if they're just giving us interest, we need to.
Well, there will be more coming.
But he said for 12 years
For another 12 years.
that we'll have this funding,
You'd get, I think, about twice as much as Carol.
really, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Carol doesn't get it. I think,
Is it a smaller population? This is about 85, 90,000.
So it's small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, then come back.
Great, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
All right, okay, yes,
Is that
good idea.
possible?
Yes, excellent. I'll get rid of all my, yes,
Gave us vests,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I remembered mine. You don't,
yeah. I don't
Your
know where
vest.
mine went.
yours is,
Oh, that's my coat.
I did not. I
you,
returned it.
yours was hanging over there this morning when I hung my coat up.
I returned it. I feel like I'm a stakeholder in this. So I'm gonna
It's there, it's there.
make sure that you have your,
Thank
thank you for.
Julie, do you want, oh, you got one on already.
Yeah, I got my blanket, so.
That's fun.
Mine's the only one covered in cat hair.
No,
We gotta fix, no, it isn't.
mine's a dog here. My cat died, but. So.
Saw the
The
picture.
next item on the agenda I have is a use and occupancy agreement, it's with the state of New Hampshire, it's for a right of way, with DOT, for. Broadband project, we've done a number of these agreements already, but this one just needs Commissioner McLeod, your signature on it, so that we can proceed with the. Construction that it's along I-93, so it's on the Camden Thornton area. I have two community development block grant drawdown requests. One is for BDC, that is the financial management company that they have coming in to do the audit to clean up all of that from BDC going out of this grant process. That one's for $15,954.17. The other one is just a regular micro friend grant for $13,000, and they both need your signatures where indicated. I don't have the fancy sign here things. I apologize. Three on that.
Holly.
It's on vacation. But reads different response in this one. Yep. And be so messed up all day that it's Wednesday and I'm.
I know, I know.
Exactly.
Yes, yesterday I had to remind myself to go south to the conference instead of north. to-
Yeah.
Commissioner Piper texted me, she was gonna be late, I was like, I don't know, don't come to North Haverhill, there's no meeting. And I got to thinking about it, I'm like, oh.
For once, I got it right. Heading to Concord.
The next item on the agenda is the court system lease renewal. I just wanted to let you know that they agreed to the 3% for both years, so that paperwork is in
Great.
process and we'll be having a grant agreement to take care of here in the near future on that. My dear friend Commissioner McLeod keeps changing the budget schedule, so this is a revised budget schedule. So the revisions include Commissioner McLeod is not available on Thursday, March 19th, so we are changing those meetings to Tuesday, March 17th. So you'll already be here anyway, so we have a combo budget commission.
No, that should be a good day.
Um,
Thank you, Commissioner.
Then you won't have to come back on Thursday.
You've got
That's true.
and
That's a
it's-
good point.
it's some of your lightest hitters as far as budgets go, so.
True.
We should be able to be done budgets by 10:30,
Human resources.
10:15 anyway, so.
So we don't have one on the 19th,
there
so I'm
is no
taking it
meeting on
out,
the
right?
19th.
Yes.
That is
I
correct.
just don't want to delete an event and then have it.
No,
okay.
no budget meeting on the 19th, we'll do that on the 17th.
Okay.
So when you skip your agenda for that meeting, it'll be a little wonky, but it'll be a combo meeting. Now, the other change is that Jim is no longer available to present his budget on the Thursday, the 26th, so I'm gonna have him present his to you on Tuesday, the 24th. But will just be part of or towards
Okay.
the end of your regular meeting. that
Okay.
day. And then on the 26th, cooperative extension wasn't available on the 17th, so they've been moved to Jim's slot on the 26th, so. And we are not meeting April 9th, we are meeting April 2nd. I think we already told you that
Yeah.
change, but. This is the most current up-to-date schedule.
Until this afternoon.
Not accepting any more budget.
Okay.
Changing mails.
And we're not meeting on the 31st
Yes,
because
longer.
it's the 5th Tuesday, is that correct?
We have discussed that and that is good with me. If that's good with all of you, not having a regular commissioners meeting on March 31st. So you would come in on the second Thursday, not on the 31st Tuesday.
Taking it out of my schedule.
Yes, I know, that's.
Oh, but I have to come up anyway because I have to sign invoices.
We could let you sign them on the second. That we.
That's that.
We can accommodate that.
Okay, because usually Thursdays are quite late for me to sign invoices. I will plan on doing that unless you
You'll
let,
survive it. That will survive that 1 week.
if you,
I'll let all the parties that need to know that.
okay.
Thank you.
Moving on, if we're all set.
Mhm.
Last week I had sent you the information, that Anton had forwarded. Regarding the meeting that they came and had with you, from UNH on Advancing Local Research for Northern New Hampshire. It's developed apparently a whole name now. You know, he just asked me to share that with you, and if you had any, sorry, that picture, I was trying to figure out where it was. If you had any comments, questions, the CDS grants are due next Friday, so I would assume they're working with the town of Haverhill, to get that community, congressionally directed spending application put together. Doesn't really look like, you look through this, you know, there's not a lot, assist in the CDS proposal process. And would assume if that goes forward, they'd be at least looking for a letter of support from Grafton County. Relatively soon, but, this is a really nicely written up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
information.
had it, but now I can't.
I don't
It
know.
was sent on the Thursday, the 19th at 3:45.
I opened it earlier by mistake and then I. 18. Yeah. And so what did it end up being our part of this commitment?
So it's assist in the CDS proposal process, partner with UNH to establish a long-term land lease, collaboratively develop joint farm operation protocols with UNH, forms a research advisory committee to steer farm use collaborations for the initial 1 to 2 year outlays for the county. And then long-term commitments, continue to collaborate and coordinate farm operations and research, provide some facility support such as plowing in emergencies, provide some farm operations support. Doesn't seem as though, I mean, obviously, a long-term lease, I don't know what that would. What? If that means
Like the
let's
parameters of that?
graciously lease them.
Yeah, right.
It's our hearts,
Mhm.
or if there would be any monetary. Components to that lease as well, which obviously would not be an outlay for us, but an income of sorts for us, so. They're looking at a $1.25 million infrastructure investment, and if you look at the picture on the second page of the render. It's like an architectural rendering, it looks like they would like to use the field directly across the street.
Yeah.
Which makes some
They're
sense
already-
because
already-
of power, water.
Yeah.
Sewer, being easily accessible right there. We were doing our housing cohort with NACO, that was that area that we had identified as well as being the easiest site on campus to be able to do something like that because of the infrastructure already being there.
So there's water, is there sewer there too?
The sewer runs right along the road, so I think it would probably be fairly easy to at least access the sewer that the county uses to send all send the sewerage to Woodsville. Do we have any input, thoughts, suggestions, comments, questions, concerns that you want forwarded? Are you good?
Doesn't seem like enough money, so I'm curious what additional resources they might be planning on. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't seem like enough funding. Does it tell us what the funding is going to?
It does not.
But I'm wondering if they just talk about it as an infrastructure, so is that building the lab and the 2 small houses? And not any of the support for the employees and whatnot
it seems like that's
That's
most
the way I
likely what
read it,
is that
so.
it's just for infrastructure buildings.
And they're not looking at, you know, the tiny houses, I mean, everything's expensive to build, but, that's the only way and I agree, I looked at the dollar amount is relatively small,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what I came up with is that they're just looking to do a couple of smallish buildings.
Long-term, they say they support the personnel. Graduate students or fellows get more grant funding to do the research and support, pay for utilities and maintenance, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so it seems like the grant would just be literally to do, to build the research facility in the tiny homes.
I like the idea of it being across there. It's kind of an easy
Hmm.
thing to keep an eye on, easy.
It's really a very interesting concept. I think it, you know, really, UNH doesn't really have anything in northern New Hampshire, so it really provides, you know,
Nice outreach.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of students from here go to UNH. They would probably be very viable, you know, candidates to do like the graduate or the, you know,
Mhm.
intern work that they would need to have done during summers and stuff.
It's a good use of the resource, the asset that we have. Doesn't disrupt, it's not like there's anything else that it would disrupt there. Would just add to it. So what are you looking for from us at this?
Just giving you some, there's the information.
Okay.
Action. I like the motto at the bottom of page 2, stewarding rural communities' prosperity through innovation.
The next thing on the agenda is, I forwarded you this email this morning. I got this email from Families Flourish Northeast, which is a residential recovery program for pregnant and parenting women, located in Lebanon. So see, now you said they were less needy, but this is in regard with the closing of headrest and decreased access to many services. We are working to ensure pregnant women and their children are supported to sobriety and beyond. And she was questioning how to apply for social service funding. Well, as you know, our application process window has closed. So I wanted to bring that forward to you to see if you are interested in me sending an application to allowing them to apply for funds. And you know, obviously there's a component that is opioid, but you know, we just had that conversation and we've got agencies from last year that are funded out of the opioid abatement fund. I know that when Superintendent Lethbridge submits his budget, he's gonna ask for the things that he has coming out of the opioid abatement fund this year, come out again next year, so our money is getting spent very quickly out of that fund, so anyways, I'm just presenting that to you to see what you want to do.
I think we should send an application to them. The closing of Headrest was pretty notorious, and that was a big loss. And it sounds as if I'm just reading the email, but I am the director for Families Flourish, so we don't know how long they've been in operation. But it's possible that so they've never received funding before, so they might just simply not know of the process.
So it appears on their website, it says opening 2027. And I don't know, that's just, I don't know if you can, so I don't know if they have programs already. I just opened it and that's,
Moms that suffer from substance use disorders are probably
Families Flourish, Northeast. Okay,
So maybe, yeah, maybe take the tag that she's looking for the information, we send it to her, tell her what we're doing, what we might have funds, more funds for. Sounds like they would be a candidate for opioid abatement funds.
it's a very nice website, isn't it?
And right now it appears, you know, if you click on some of the tabs up top,
Mhm.
it appears that, you know, there's no one to reach out to there. They say contact 211 or 911.
Oh, Lisa Valdez,
So perhaps if we get the application, we'll know what they're looking at and
Yeah. Yeah.
when they're looking.
yeah,
If you are all in agreement, I will send the application to her and give her a couple of weeks to get that done. As obviously after April 2nd, we're not gonna be able to do that,
Right.
so. We'll send that to her if that's what everybody, if that's.
Yeah.
wrong.
let me just, so are we doing that, sending it to her so that she can see the process for when the organization opens, or is it for she's applying for money this year?
Well,
You're asking to, I think, be able to apply.
they're
This year.
right, and then we can look at it and see what they say and what their projections are.
Okay,
And whether it's something we can even do, looking for funding, you know, in
Okay,
advance.
thank you.
It would be the way I would look at it, because it looks like, in her letter,
And then she knows the procedure too,
Right.
and if they. want to
Exactly,
apply in
exactly.
27 For
Right.
fiscal 28, they would
Oh,
be able to
good.
do that.
Are you comfortable with that, Wendy, in your
I sure am.
area?
Thank you. I sure am. And it is I'm just looking at, it's a very well put together. I do know at least one person on the board. I'll look at that up. Oh my gosh. Untreated, this is our reason for existing. Untreated perinatal substance use is associated with significant morbidity and mortality for these women and their infants. I mean, just the level of what do you call it, that we see at the Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital is
You know,
incredible.
I know this Kayleen Jones.
Okay, I know Lisa.
And I know
Valdez.
that she has worked for Dartmouth in the past on some of this.
Yeah, this
very
looks good,
stuff.
huh?
Yeah.
This looks good.
Yeah. And I remember her telling me about this project that.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, so this might be what's come out of it. Huh, that's great that they. It's put together.
And they're inclusive.
Yes.
The whole picture.
That's great. Yeah, they were just saying this morning there weren't enough. This kind of work going on. For
right,
women.
for housing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Well, good. Can,
So I forwarded you the email from Harrison as well this morning, but I also printed you out a copy. This is the, most up-to-date information about pathways to homeownership that we, gave them the ARPA money for. They are on target to spend all of the money that we gave them, by the end of 2026.
Mm.
They do have more occupations that aren't listed here, but they do take up
I love the
a lot of room.
yeah,
barista,
yeah.
police officer, ski industry. Wait staff. I mean, it's all the people we were hoping. we
Yep.
Targeted.
Nice job.
And the average home price, I don't know where they're finding them, but.
Me neither.
Yeah. It's really, really astute of him to include the occupations. That's great.
His email says we are currently working with New Hampshire Charitable Fund to fund additional dollars to put towards this program. So we are hoping to extend the program past 2026.
That's really, and this says 29 households.
Unique household.
Yeah. In less than a year. I mean,
And then towns purchased in. This is really interesting.
and then-
Look at
It's
that.
all over the county.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
We did
Doing
good.
Exactly what we had hoped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Right.
Hey, moving on, update on another never-ending project, FCC market
Yeah.
notification, so we found a lot of things out, over the time that we've been researching this. As it turns out, WMUR is available on DirecTV throughout Grafton County. It is not available on Dish Network as Dish Network, you know that. And most recently, we found out that there probably will not be able to be or need to be an FCC market modification because New Hampshire has a specific exemption that allows WMUR specifically be broadcast in outside of its designated market place, because WMUR is, as you know, the only statewide New Hampshire news outlet. So, they still have to have a retransmission agreement with the satellite company, which they have with DirecTV. And was the catalyst and the reason that they do not have carry it on Dish TV is because they were never able to come to the retransmission consent agreement over price. So
So it's only available on a satellite, not streaming.
it's available streaming. I can get it at my house on ASTAC News or something like that.
Yeah, it's very.
But this was the only avenue we have is
Yeah,
satellites. And when we started talking about it was because it wasn't available on Dish. So anybody that has Dish, they can switch to Direct and get WMUR. We're still working.
I have Direct TV, but it's the streaming and it's not on there.
On Direct.
DTV. Streaming.
It's supposed to be on Direct TV too, but anyways.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's like on Spectrum, if you do Spectrum streaming, there's a lot of channels I not just WMUR, but there's other channels I don't get. However, with a Spectrum box, you can get it. It just the streaming doesn't do some of the I guess maybe it's the plan we had for the streaming. Also, we could perhaps get more.
It's really frustrating when we had storms like we just had and stuff. You can get WCAX, you can get Plattsburgh, New York, you can get all kinds of.
That's because that's the designated market area that
Right.
we are in. is
Right.
Can't get anything about what's going on in our state.
Anyways, I did email our attorney the other day and just said, you know, what are our next steps? Because this information just came in over the weekend, so, and I haven't heard back from him yet, so. It may seem like we may be at the end of the road as far as what the county can do, but I'll update you further once I get information and the answer to that question.
It really is all about, in my view anyways, because it was available, I don't have Dish anymore, but it was all the first stations in their contract and they just didn't want to pay.
Yep.
For it. They just didn't want to pay what they wanted them to pay for.
And there were actually like 23 stations across the country that it happened to
Yeah.
first, so. Anyways,
They still have the 22, is it 22?
Yeah.
Some,
out of
Yeah.
Vermont.
out of Vermont that they kept, but they didn't have all of the first ABC stations.
And I don't think that one's owned, I don't think they actually have, I don't think they have a Hearst one now, they have one that's
Ah.
Plattsburgh,
Okay.
Burlington Plattsburgh, but it's not a Hearst channel. Anyways, I'll keep you updated, but that's where we're at with that. That is, we are still working on it. But wondering if
Somebody's
we've
gonna say
fallen
something.
it off.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is, Nicole had sent or sent me and I sent you,
Yeah.
and this morning I sent you her updated version. The first one I think didn't have the second page. Request for use of LATCF monies to basically finish out this season of the transitional housing because the ARPA money's all gone.
I can't find it, but what was the amount? I can't remember what.
$32,000.
Really not. I have the one that was,
If you look this, I sent one this morning. That's the
Oh,
most
okay.
recent one to open.
oh, request for
Yeah.
SEM.
8:07 this morning.
They've done, I mean, if you read it over, they've
Mhm.
had 18 referrals and they've provided temporary housing for 13. 8
Mhm.
have now transitioned into permanent housing.
Yeah, that's a good, that's a good amount.
Mhm.
And her concern was that they had already made decisions in February that were more than what we had for funds. Okay, that's what I.
And they want to be able to continue to house the few that they have through March, to get through winter.
Yeah. And then it's back to the campgrounds.
For one
what-
individual, she thinks they aren't gonna be able to have because of his criminal.
But that's remarkable that they found housing for all but one. Or hopefully all but one. I would be in favor of this, and particularly, it's been such a harsh winter, to extend the program, she said, through April 2026, so we're not putting, anyone out on the street, in what may still be the depths of winter,
Look at this morning.
right?
We have almost $350,000 left in the LEC.
I think it's an important
Me too.
thing, gives them stability so they can. get
Right.
back.
Need a motion.
So I will make a motion to, provide 32,000 from the local assistance and private consistency fund, to our, Grafton County Sequential Intercept Model Transitioning Housing Program, to continue housing through, April 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect, thank you. She'll be very happy to hear that. You also have her report. She has forwarded you her report.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, you can reach out to her regarding her report. And then not on the agenda, but March 10th, we will have an afternoon meeting. We will have a public hearing.
Hearing.
Oh, yeah.
I set up 3 public hearings. So we'll start that meeting at 2 that day. Have a public hearing at 3. As I said to you in my email, I have to leave by 3:25 that day, but I probably can finish out the meeting, whatever's left to do at that point in time. It shouldn't be much, so. And that grant application is due on 14th, so. It's the only day we can do it literally in order to get it done before the application is due and to allow us time enough. Can't do it next week because we don't have time enough to advertise it.
Okay. I'll join as long as I can. I'll join by virtually that day. See how it goes. It'll be 8 o'clock at night, I think. But anyways. See what I can do.
And the only other thing that I had put on the agenda was next steps with the EMS study. I didn't know if while it was fresh in the mind, everybody wanted to talk about that, if you could give that any thought.
Did want to add some comments because I had to leave early. Just gonna find them here. I don't want Mr. DeMayo to take up his time with the comments, because I had told him I would ask his questions. Now I just have to find them. Here we go. So one of the questions we were gonna ask was the cost of equipment. Would the cost of equipment go down if we regionalize all of Grafton County EMS into one unified body? So that was one question, and I don't know if we were forwarding, were we gonna forward questions from the public that were here to Don Bliss? Was that, what did you tell people, or?
We didn't really get any
Yeah,
questions, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they could reach out to us. I don't think that question was addressed in the report, nor have we done the research, because it would make a big difference on how things were reallocated. You know, in terms of things like ambulances, if we regionalize the whole county, I mean,
It
I
wasn't
didn't.
addressed in the report, and
No.
the whole thing was not one of the recommendations, or.
No,
as a
basically said
possibility.
the whole county one would not work in Grafton County. And so even though that was listed as some potential models, they stated at the meeting that that was not, one that would be viable in Grafton County.
And then the second one was, this one I'm not as sure. Please ask if casino money profits can be used to subsidize EMS regionalization costs. And I know there's a lot of that going on at town meetings in March, it's not quite March, where people are looking at, whether to have casinos in their towns. But I don't think Don Bliss did not look at that as an option.
No, it was not looked at in the study, and I think that, I for one, I don't have, casino profits. I don't know any laws, on casinos, and whether that would just go through local property taxes or, you know, the business, taxes, or the room and meals tax. I don't know how that would be, but I don't think we have a way to ask, the way our county government's set up. I don't think we have a way to directly get any of those funds except through the taxes assessed per town, would be my guess, but I don't know that.
There is an option in the state, and I don't know if everyone is aware of this, but if it's an EMS, if it's a not-for-profit EMS that's being operated, they can apply to receive some of those funds through the casinos that
Oh,
are
so,
operating in the state. And I know there's a lot of not-for-profits that get funds from those, like they're like a bingo night kind of thing, right?
oh,
yeah.
oh, yeah, like any of the not-for-profits, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
quite a few do.
Some
a
get
considerable
quite a bit.
amount of money from those, so those, if it was a not-for-profit, I don't know if towns and cities are able to access those funds, but that certainly would be available to any of the
Right.
EMS.
And again, this was not something that we just discussed as part of the EMS project or something like that. In terms of next steps, I know because it is in my district that the Warren and Wentworth ambulance went out of business. At town meeting, at the 5 towns who are looking to set up a village district, that's on the warrant articles. They're non-binding warrant articles to give the select board, from my understanding, and I don't have the wording in my mind, but basically it's a non-binding agreement that they can look to move forward with this project, and it would be voted on next year to really set it up. From my understanding, that's how you have to do it with the DRA. And I think in my mind are the avenues of what we'll do. are dependent on two things. One is if there might be a possibility, if that goes through, that would be a pilot project for the village districts, that, Mr. Bliss described. The other thing that I think, we'll know in the next couple of weeks, and we heard some of this at the legislative conference yesterday, is the rural health transformation program. And when we get information of how we have to request those funds, the grant that we did we found out clearly yesterday was just to get information of ideas of projects, and a new grant submission would need to be done for that to get any monies. And we got a brief description of that there'd be different pots of money run by different organizations, which we don't have any details on. That will be going to the executive council, we think this next week.
meeting, yeah.
But they described some monies for workforce
Mhm.
and monies for
Renovation and
renovations, more of the health care, which we think EMS might
yes,
fit in there, but it was a little
Access to health
vague,
care.
access to care.
and then I think the one was behavioral health.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And so I think we'll need to know what happens with that, because one of the things they talked about was to set up a steering committee. But I think the makeup of the steering committee may be different depending on the answers to those two questions.
Executive Counselor Hill is hooking us up with them so that we get the emails that we need to be notified of what this Go North, so Go North is the name of the group.
Mhm.
that
Right.
They're using, apparently being run somewhat like Gopher was
Yeah.
before with the ARPA funds.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, my thought was that we, as part of our New Hampshire Association of Counties, that we invite someone from Go North as well as these 4 organizations to come speak at that and clearly tell everyone what it is we need to do, because counties serve a lot of people. And they're in a lot of rural parts, and basically they said almost all parts of New Hampshire are considered for this rural
Yeah,
grant.
yeah.
There's only a very small part that is not. So I think the counties are gonna be able to access this. And we'll have to find out where EMS is. I think it's under access to care. And we're gonna have to like reapply for funds for that. They are under the gun to get the money out, so the reason they're putting it out to these 4 organizations is to get the money off of the books and get it encumbered as soon as possible. So they don't lose any of that. But there was no information on how much in this initial thing was going out.
No, they said something about the bulk of it and then a small amount, but we don't know any of
Yeah.
the details. And I think that after the executive counselor meeting, executive counselor Hill was felt confident that it would be discussed at their meeting next week. And that we would get some information after that. We were able to speak with her along with the county administrators from Sullivan and Cheshire County. And also with the idea that if some of the programs were thinking about if the grant would be stronger doing something together, they
Yeah.
would be
Mhm.
happy to do that. Cheshire did have I think 3 different proposals submitted, and I'm not sure I got the idea that Sullivan County had not, but was told that because the way the funds are being distributed, we're all going to need to apply officially, and so no one's left out of the process at this point. And that if we look, when we have to do it, if we find that the village district is not going to be able to go forward, then we would be able to alter the grants that we're writing to try and get support for EMS. We're not, it's not set in stone for what we wrote before, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, we're not hampered by that at all. So there's still, that's all out there. But I do think if we can, if the committee would consider having someone there,
I think that's a good idea.
maybe, I think if put all four of them out, invite all four of those organizations.
When we find out who they are, I think that would be
And
something.
we need to know what the rules are from them for applying for the funds, whether it's different in every group, each organization, or if it's something that is described by the.
Yeah, we
Go
absolutely
with
can. I mean, I would hope by November, we already have all that
I would
information
hope,
as far as,
yeah.
that type of.
But it is a
communication, but
5-year
We certainly
process.
can
Yeah.
look at inviting, we can certainly have rural health transformation as a seminar,
Yeah.
webinar. Conference meetings topic and,
And by November, we'll get updates with what's happened and how we're gonna go forward. And I was thinking, as you mentioned that, it might also be a good topic for one of our monthly New Hampshire Association of County meetings. I know they've brought things in, so my guess would be, we have a meeting next week, but that might, so we might have some information from the executive council, because I think they meet next
Right.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So perhaps, because they've been good about bringing all the information forward, so we might get more information then, because certainly waiting until our April meeting, it sounds like, much will have to be done by,
Yeah.
the beginning of April, so.
Yeah, and we can always adjust whatever the session is. It could be if someone is successful in getting money, we can ask them to speak
Yeah,
and tell
right.
us how they did that and what the project
Yeah.
was and what the process was. The other topic was the congressional directed spending. And I did talk to Chris, Chris Scott from Shaheen's office, about that and whether Grafton County could apply for some funds for the courthouse
Oh, my,
project.
nice idea.
Yeah, so
Wow.
there's maybe 30 different funding sources
Mhm.
that go into this kind of thing.
My goodness.
And as I described it to him, DOJ might be a source if we wanted to do something with, say, the dispatch or the sheriff's office, kind of that portion.
Oh.
If we have an emergency operations center, that's a possibility, otherwise it's not. But that's where funding. And then the other one was USDA funding for community facilities. For example, if we wanted to apply for, I just pulled out, say, the deeds office portion in there that people have asked about, like why spend that money? Well, funding could come from this source. And, we could look at other department areas or whatever, but that would be, it would not be for the courthouse portion, the
Mhm.
court portion, but it could be
Mhm.
for some of our.
Our county operations.
That's a great
county
idea.
operations, yeah. So, the challenge there is that it's due next Friday. And, but he was very interested in having us do that, so.
I can reach out to him. I've done some research. The community facilities grants require a match. And they also only do, a maximum of up to 75%. And that's based on populations, so I don't know if that's looking at the population of the county, or Haverhill as the rural community. You also have to reach out to your local, rural development office,
That guy just changed, right? Didn't he just leave? The RD guy?
It says that the average CF community facilities, project size funded was $1 million last year.
They just did something over in the Conway area, he said. But they had so many different places, the different departments,
Right.
federal departments that funding comes from. That it really takes one of them that knows, what the project is and what it could be.
Yeah, I can reach out to him and have more conversation with him.
But I think it would address one of the issues anyways that has come up in the whole project is, either the particular department being in there or
Mhm.
is there other funding available, so. What else? Have we learned anything else yesterday and then?
I would just comment, I thought it was very productive. I liked appreciated the budget discussion, which was nothing but bad news. Um,
It's generally what budgets are these days.
what?
It's generally what budgets are
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, and then the expanding role of county government, and I think that's, and Chris Coates spoke about that because they've expanded down there in Cheshire, but I think that, so a point that was made, and I think it's a bipartisan issue. A point that was made is that constituents don't really care where, where the funding is coming from, whether it's the state or the local level, as long as the services are provided. And I think that maybe we can think about that. I think members of the public need to think about that. Need to hear that, if whether the county might expand services, as it seems sometimes we're asked to do. So of course our property taxes go up, but that's what is necessary. But the budget, if I heard correctly, because I've kind of not been thinking about this for a while, but if I heard correctly, it was the COVID funding, the temporary COVID funding, which in the select board meetings and the city council that I attended, everyone cautioned us, don't use the COVID money for operational expenses, correct? And I think I heard yesterday that COVID money had been used at least to finance tax cuts,
Yes.
correct?
I think that-
And I think that was the earned interest in dividends. And I know a lot of people, and I'm saying this primarily to folks in the public. I know a lot of good people on both sides of the proverbial aisle who question that tax cut. That we do need to keep the state running. And so I think it's important to say that is that New Hampshire has never had a broad-based tax, and I'll put myself at odds perhaps with some folks in the room, I don't know, because I do support the New Hampshire tax structure. I do support it. I appreciate that downward pressure on the budget that it creates. However, the idea that we have all of these folks from out of state that come in, and that we got rid of, we have wealthy folks that are living here. And we just gave them, if I'm understanding everything correctly, a pretty good tax cut. And I have Republican friends who really disagreed with that. Might not have voted their conscience, but in their conscience, they felt that it was not wise. So anyway, that just resonated with me, but that's a philosophical issue.
But it was interesting, so it was Lindsay Stepp, who's the commissioner?
Yeah.
The DRA, yeah.
The DRA.
Yeah.
And so she talked about the pie of revenues in our state, because we don't have any broad-based taxes.
Right.
We have to get the money from, property taxes more than most states do. And we
Right.
have to get the money from, what was the other source that was so big?
The business.
Business taxes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, you know, people are always trying to reduce the business taxes. And of course, the property taxes impact all of our families and individuals in the state. But unless you have another source for those necessary services, there isn't any way to do that. So we look very different as a state than most states do. So without a broad-based sales tax, for example, that might, our out-of-state visitors might pay. You know,
And-
that money comes from our people, our own people in our communities.
And I think that looking, not even at the philosophical,
Yeah,
what
that's,
if we are
familiar.
looking at, moving services to the county level,
Mm.
that is downshifting from state funds. So when you say people don't care where the money comes from or something like that, I will respectfully disagree, because when they get downshifted to the county or the town, it directly impacts, as you said, our property taxes. So I think that it, in some ways, certainly does make a difference. And I think that, property taxes are, it's really how we fund many of our services. But if things that the state does are wanting to move them to the county government,
Yeah,
that is going to increase our property taxes. And it's just math.
thanks.
The other interesting piece was was the 300 million in rainy day funds.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Coates was really good at saying,
Yeah,
we're not thinking about that as an investment. You know, you're just putting that in the bank and maybe you get some interest, but if you actually invested that in services that the feds match,
Right.
you know, dollar for dollar or 50%, whatever it is, you're actually increasing the funding that's coming in to pay for the services, and it's not going to, doesn't have to be covered by the property taxes.
Yeah.
But they think of it as, you know, we're doing a great job of just putting that money in the bank somewhere, and it's like, well, maybe there's another
yeah.
financial approach to that, another model than sticking it in the bank. Yeah.
Can I just respond? Because you're absolutely right in what you said, Commissioner Hedberg, and I just wanted to say that I was actually quoting or paraphrasing one of the representatives who said that. It was, yeah, let me get me off the hook here. It was Representative Joe Sweeney who said that. And just to wax philosophical for a few more seconds, if we, you know, we don't have a broad-based tax that appeals to a lot of us. I understand that, but that means that whatever cuts we have, whatever tax cuts we give have to be really smart ones. And I fear that that isn't necessarily always the case. And what Commissioner McLeod said, I couldn't agree with more. And that is, I'm a 10th generation New Hampshire native. I very proudly live free or die. But the state has changed tremendously from my parents and their parents and their parents. The affordability for people. This used to be a working place. This used to be a working state. And it's changed tremendously into a vacation state. My beloved hometown of Meredith. So there's a lot of New Hampshire natives that aren't happy with that, and so it's just kind of ironic
Well, we're
because
footing the bills for all of those people, and they have an
Right.
accident on our highway, or
Right.
they have, you know, medical needs in town. Who is coming to act, or who's
Yeah.
paying for the
so
services?
sometimes politically
Yeah,
you find strange bedfellows
yeah.
because folks might want more revenue in the most unlikely places, argue for
Especially
it.
if it is going to decrease property taxes. I think
Yeah.
it's worth the conversation.
It's a holistic,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to circle back because we started out with the next steps of the EMS study, and I
Okay.
think the conversation we had from yesterday's legislative conference fit very well with that.
Mhm.
But I would suggest on the next steps of the EMS study, to keep it fresh in our mind, but put it back on the agenda in, like
March.
but probably 3 weeks, because then
And we'll know.
town meetings will be done and we will have gotten information from the rural transformation. Because I think we don't want to, I personally, I won't speak for everyone else. I don't want to spend money on on an excellent report and let it languish on our
Absolutely.
website. So I think if we can put it back on the website or back on the agenda for after town meetings, and then we'll know what's at least happening with the village districts. Or their potential for village districts, because it's just
And I
whether they can go
I think
forward.
there's some of those recommendations we should just read through and say yes, yay
Yeah.
or nay. Are we
Yeah.
gonna do anything in
Right.
the near future
Right.
about them? And then I should mention that I did have an email from, was it Mr. Booth?
Yeah,
About the Kank Linwood. It was a Linwood ambulance service. Do I have the right one? Because my computer battery died. And he does feel that they do cover Livermore on the Kank. And he learned that from one of our meetings that actually they're not getting reimbursed, but Conway
Conway is.
is.
Conway Village Fire is getting reimbursed. They respond from the fire side.
Okay.
Because Lincoln Fire Department will only respond to the Lincoln Town line. So there's that gap. I'm assuming what he's saying is that Linwood
Ambulance
Ambulance
does not.
responds.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are going to Livermore. So that's what we need to ferret out. What that situation is, because we may need to have a contract with them as well. That's the case. Well, we need to find out why Conway doesn't share that.
Well, except if it's just
No.
fire and not ambulance. I don't know that.
But Conway Fire may be fire and EMT, different county.
That's not, I can look, but
Okay.
I think it's just Conway Village Fire that's typically when an accident happens, both an ambulance and a fire respond, and in Livermore's case, Lincoln Fire won't respond to Livermore. And so Conway Village Fire, or Conway Fire now, will go all the way to the Lincoln Town line, which is Livermore. But I'll look into that.
Yeah. See what
Verification on.
is happening there.
So.
So other commissioner issues?
No, just that.
We have a non-public session?
Yeah, if you wanted to do public comment and then we can.
Okay.
And
With the non-public. Okay. All right, and there's no one left in the room. And is anyone online? It's Mr. DeMayo.
Yes,
Uh,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner McLeod, for asking my questions. I don't understand the EMS. So the EMS is just going to be for one district of 5 towns as a pilot program. So that money should, really come from them. You shouldn't ask the rest of the county to subsidize that service. The other thing maybe you should look at, maybe asking the legislature, since we're hurting for money, is homesteading like they do in Florida. There's a homesteading act where if you have a residency in Florida, you get so much off your facility. And I would suggest user fees for those people who come in and use our mountains and use our trails and use our lakes. And maybe there should be some look from the county to go. And since Commissioner Piper mentioned that we're going from a, what did you say, a working state to a vacation state, then then I guess maybe what we should do is look at having these people who are vacationers come up here and pay a little bit more money for the services. You can't expect the people who are middle class here. Not everybody up here is a millionaire, I mean, we're not millionaires. We're average middle class people, and we don't want our taxes going up because we love living here. We don't want to go back to the flatlands. I'd rather look at the mountains than look at the high rises, So I think homesteading is what they're doing in Florida. That would be a way to go, try to get a homesteading act in. You'd have to go to the legislature to do that. But you know, you can't keep coming to the taxpayers, especially many of them becoming seniors, and you know, we just can't afford to pay all these things on the wish list. So I think you guys have, you know, you ladies have your work cut out for you, and do your homework. And Commissioner McLeod, thank you for again looking at the DOJ and the USDA for funds. I think President Trump's $50 billion money in rural healthcare is helpful for the county and for the state. So maybe you could look at other avenues there. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else online, want to offer a comment, public comment? I don't see or hear any. Okay, all right, thank you. We're gonna go into a non-public session, so this portion of our, public section of our meeting will.
Mrs. Smith raised her.
Oh, okay. Emily. Yes, you'll have to unmute Emily, Emily Smith. Can you find an unmute button on your device? What kind of device do you use? Do you get any comment there at all? All right, she put her hand down. Great. All right, you could send us an email if you like, Emily, with your comments.
Is Mr. DeMeo's got his hand up again? Maybe he's trying to say something about.
No, okay.
Can you just make sure you tell them that I'll be back on Teams?
Oh, right, we're not, yes. Yeah, the public portion of the meeting is over. We will not be back on Teams to adjourn the meeting after our non-session that we have to go into now. So we'll end it, the Teams meeting now. I'm going to